What is up, real life traders and YouTube? This is Robert Falco from Real Life Trading. And don't forget, by the way, to follow us by clicking that like button down there, click subscribe, and comment down below which of these growth stocks we're going to talk about today do you think is going to recover the fastest. But let's jump on in. It was a growth stock, just destruction, murder out there today in the markets. If you look at SPY looks phenomenal. So got a nice hammer candle, amazing close. I mean, huge rally in the last hour, aka power hour. Super strong for SPY. Q's actually looks pretty decent, holding the 50, nice lower shadow, close strong. But then you dive under the surface to some of these high price to sales, high flyer growth stocks that a lot of us were in, including myself in FSLY here, and just absolute destruction. So FSLY completely annihilated today. I bailed on this one. Horrible earnings. They lost their CFO, or they're losing their CFO for undisclosed reasons. They don't have a replacement. They're searching outside. They are lowering their guidance. All that fun stuff. Already had a very high price to sales, and it's getting low. It's going to go lower, probably down into 35, maybe even 30. It wouldn't surprise me if this even got down to 26, to be honest. Maybe they do recover longer term, but it's going to take so long. I don't want to be in this thing. So I bailed on it. I lost some R's. They don't all work, so it is what it is. But if you are in FSLY, just be prepared for a long road ahead. And if it does rip back up, into this like 50 area again, or 51, expect lots of selling. There's so many people bag holding this thing. I know a bunch that are already like, if I just get a little bit of a rally, I'm going to get out of it. This thing is, it's going to be painful for quite some time. So absolute destruction on FSLY, down 27% today. I actually think it probably has like a little small bullish candle tomorrow, and then it's either going to trade a little bit higher, take out this high, and then roll over, or it's going to have continuation lower and just maybe go straight to 35 and then try to hold there. We will see what happens, but FSLY getting destroyed. I want no part of this thing anymore, other than selling rips on it. So that's FSLY. Redfin, I mean, look at this gap today on Redfin. Holy guacamole. I mean, what a gap down. So I had to redraw this fib because it was violating the 618. So I just went from this low in March of 2020 to this high of February of 21. We just sliced through that 50% retrace today. I foresee this one potentially coming all the way back into this 618. Retrace right around 43, but this thing opened and just absolutely free fell. I mean, I think this is the shaved top. I don't think it went 1 penny higher, did it? It opened at 59.50 and the high is 59.50. Immediate selling pretty much all day long. So Redfin got destroyed. Again, the housing market's doing phenomenally well, but I think it had such a big run that no matter what it did for earnings, it was going to get hammered, and the earnings were not that great. So if you're buying this one, I definitely get it. But be a little bit careful about how much you're buying, how quickly. I don't think there's any need to rush back into some of these high growth stocks. Palantir, this was just destined to go lower, it seems like, because so many people were bullish on it. I actually like the CEO. I listened to a couple of his interviews, but the valuation was just too high. It seems like the only thing holding it up was Kathy buying millions and millions of shares. It failed 20 today. It tried to hold it at the close. Looks like we're back below after hours, but Palantir probably going to get crushed on earnings. This thing has not been around. It's been around for a while. It's not like it's a brand new company. It's brand new on the public markets. I don't think they've ever made a profit. So I do expect Palantir to come lower. It does have an intriguing story. It was just too hot. Like, everybody knew about it. Everyone's talking about Palantir. It's cheap. Like $20 a share. So a lot of people on Robinhood and Wall Street Bets are buying it. So I just don't think that they can be right on everything. And there was just too many people in this. And it looks like it's going to go lower. So we closed below all these lower wicks, all these supports. And I think that Palantir is going to go lower. Peloton. So Peloton, I did try it over here. It was running up, looking really nice. Had this gap down on the treadmill news. Unfortunately, somebody died. And, don't let your kids play around treadmills, I guess. I don't know, is the takeaway there. But that was the news story. I ended up bailing when it broke back through 100. And then on the recall yesterday, this thing just got absolutely cheese shredded all day long. Little bullish candle today. Initially, it was gapping down on earnings. Something they said on their call boosted it a little bit. I actually thought that it might be able to gap up a bit. I mean, if we actually were going to open below this candle, this thing would have just careened lower all day long. Probably would have came down into probably 70, maybe even the high 60s. It does look like we're going to open higher. I do think that this rip gets sold back into this blue line, this 92.60 area. Treadmills aren't their primary business, but it's just bad news for them. And overall, the bullish trend line in here is busted. So I think it retests and then it probably rolls over, comes a little bit lower. So just again, high valuation. We're reopening, so not going to be as popular of a stock for people to buy. Once all these momentum traders are out of it, and the momentum's gone, the story traders are out of it, there's no value investors coming in to buy this thing. So it makes it difficult for a lot of these to go higher, and you just have so many people trapped, and it just looks like an absolute perfect head and shoulders. I don't see how at least some of these don't play out to the downside. Kind of like Twilio. I mean, look at this topping candle up here. Abandoned baby at the top. Tries the retest and fails, makes a lower high, and now you have earnings, just crazy gap down. I think this one does trade up a little bit and then end up rolling over, unless we just open down here. It doesn't look like we're going to do that yet. We have a long way until tomorrow morning, so it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But I could see like 1 or 2 consolidation days, maybe a little pop, and then probably a rollover. So just be very, very careful with these high flying growth names. Sorry, that's not a great trend line. Let me get one versus trying to draw it freehand here. But the trend line looks like it's broken, so I think a retest and then probably a rollover. Again, looks like a double top on the weekly. We're at the weekly 50. We'll see what happens, but Twilio's had a hell of a run. I think that it eventually sells off and comes lower. DDOG was also just getting absolutely shredded today. This thing went from 93 to 70 in like a week, up into earnings. So, I mean, the good thing, it got hammered so bad that it looks like they're getting some of it back on earnings. I haven't personally looked into their earnings to see how good or not good they were, but if the trend follows for this earnings season, even if the earnings are good, sell the rip. Sell the rip. You can buy it back later. Don't see any reason to rush into this thing. Again, you go to some of these, weeklies, and they just look so head and shoulder-ish. I mean, double tops, trend lines are all broken. The trend is your friend until the bend in the end, and these things are bending. You got Momo shorts on a lot of these things, so the momentum traders are out. It's going to be a rough one out there for some of these growth stocks. So let us know, comment down below which one of these that you like, that you think will rebound quicker. Personally, I'm not in any of these anymore. I might look to get into some Palantir, but it's going to have to be lower. So hopefully this goes lower on earnings, and I'll probably look to start buying it around 16, something like that. Not a ton. I do like Twilio. It's just the valuation is super, super high. So I would buy this as well, but it's going to have to be on a pretty good dip. So growth doesn't seem like the place to be, but I think as the market continues to rotate, I think the overall market can still go higher, like the SPY, but it's going to get a little hairy in the growth sector. So be very, very careful trying to buy these dips, buy them slowly, small size, and or just find some other sectors out there to trade. In the meantime, have a good mix of long and shorts, and don't forget, check us out, reallifetrading.com. Love life, live life, trade it. Thanks so much, everyone.